you guys doing?
I'm doing good. How are you?
Good, good. It's a pleasure meeting you two, finally.
Likewise. Thank you for joining us, and thank you for your submission of Happy ISO Kid to the film festival. It was awesome.
Thank you.
So are you
Pleasure being.
are you inside a closet?
You got me.
Are you hiding from your kid?
I'm literally hiding from my kid right now, but I can tell you in the first 5 minutes, probably 5-10 minutes, she will probably try to video bomb this conversation because she's done it many times now for other things that I've been doing.
That's fine. She was the star of the movie anyway.
That is true. That is true. So you'll probably hear her in a few minutes. So.
So how are you doing?
I'm doing pretty well, actually. Just been busy with a lot of other projects that's been on the go. The phase 2 has finally been lifted on the city, so I was able to finally get out some fresh air and play some tennis because I've been like waiting to play outside more. And
Yeah.
and then Father's Day, I got to finally go to the golf driving range for the first time.
Oh wow! Happy Father's Day.
Thank you. I just found out my wife didn't know how to she never golfed before, so this was like an opportunity for me to teach her.
Yeah,
And
yeah.
she's got this like mean stroke.
It's super cute.
Yeah. Yeah. She's got this mean stroke now that can drive. So I can't do what she does now.
Oh, that's awesome, man. That's awesome. Yeah. So, what exactly were the restrictions super clear between phase 1 and 2? What was the kind of deal with that in Canada?
Well, the phase 1 was actually a lot longer than I thought. Like we had it lifted roughly around the end of May, beginning of June. And what happened was afterwards, they kept talking about wanting to lift more restrictions with phase 2. But what happened is, I don't know if you heard of Trinity Bellwoods in Toronto, downtown.
No.
Okay. So Trinity Bellwoods is a very popular park. And when they lifted the restrictions on phase 1, everybody went out for a picnic. And everybody just hung around each other. It looked like it was like a beach party scene that was happening.
Wow.
And next thing you know, I see it all over Instagram and blogtoronto.com saying like, this is not social distancing, guys. So what happened was the next week or the next few days, they immediately put like these white circles within 6 feet of each other. They painted it like the grass.
Yeah.
It looked like some sort of things that you see in some alien movie.
Oh yeah, like
they came down and
signs. Yeah.
Exactly, the signs.
The crop circles. Yeah.
The crop circles. So it worked. Let's just put it that way.
That's hilarious. It's like in the UK. If you start a queue, people will join it no matter where it is. So it's,
for sure.
As soon as you it's like lemmings, isn't it? It's guiding lemmings to the cliff. That's what it is. And it's kind of crazy like that. It's like that here with the beaches that we have here, or the smaller beaches.
Oh yeah.
People go absolutely crazy, and it's as though people have forgotten the last 12 weeks.
Yes. Yes.
Like, I want to forget the last 12 weeks. Someone said to me, I think it was on a podcast episode, every month this year feels like a year because of all the terrible things happening, because of all the physical and mental exhaustion we're all going through. Every month feels like a year.
It has, and it's one of those things where like it's both kind of like unfortunate but also a blessing in disguise. Like I find that this COVID allowed us to kind of spend more time at home with our loved ones who are who's been with us, and I find that with this type of situation being put upon us, it made us more creative. And I'm not just saying about like the filmmaking, but also even
Yeah.
around the house. Like
Yeah.
man, we finally learned like to finally like do some spackling and
Mm-hmm.
culping, and
Yeah.
then we finally added the what do you call those floating shelves to
Ooh.
spruce out the house and everything.
Are they above
And
the
my wife,
Okay.
TV? Have you got floating shelves above the TV that in your film, haven't you? Yeah.
I would love to do that. I should probably do that. I haven't put it up because I'm like legit worried if I mess up that TV is gonna be gone.
Yeah.
I'm sure there's a YouTube video for it. I'm sure if you just find it, you'll find it.
Yeah.
That's true. That is true. Yes, yeah. How about you guys? What phase are you in, like at this moment?
Our government in the UK doesn't know what the hell it's doing with itself.
And our government is just trash, right? So
Yeah.
I'm in North Carolina.
I think Nadia loses this one.
Oh, we've been losing. We've been
Oh.
losing. But specifically for North Carolina, they are trying to open up in phases, but they're really, really making sure that they're attentive to the details of, county by county about what's going on. North Carolina is pretty rural and further out, so there hasn't been as many cases in comparison to states like New York or New Jersey. But it's still something that they're taking very seriously. But of course, there's some people that are refusing to wear masks and refusing to take the necessary precautions. There's a lot of schools here. So you have a lot of, medical schools and a lot of big name schools are here. Duke University, University of North Carolina, Chapel Hill is here. So there's a lot of people in North Carolina. They're just trying to just manage and deal with it all to the best of their abilities. So the state seems to be okay. The United States, not so much.
I don't think it is United States, is it? Not quite.
No, not at all. Not at all.
It's grim. It's so grim. That's why we
Very grim.
lean towards creativity in our own small ways, because it gives us relief. And if you've got family, that's kind of a welcome relief from everything. And if you do have immediate family or friends you're living with, you will get closer because of the situation we're in. And
absolutely.
I'm thankful for that. Like, I just went out and shouted in the street and played my 5.1 system with this particular song the loudest it can go, and I know my neighbors will hate me because my football team just won for the first time in 30 years. So you could hear my music opened all the windows. I just blasted it everywhere. So, and there's a police officer that lives across the road, so I don't care. But, So
I'm sure it's better than the fireworks.
I do feel as though there is depending on where you live and how much you speak to your neighbors, there is a strong community bond now. I really do believe that. And I've lived on this quiet street now. It's on an old army barracks, and there's a 2/3 of it still army, way to the other side, and the rest of it you kind of get to know people a lot more. I think because as long as you're like-minded and sensible, I think, and you've got a good moral center, I think you can make a really strong community. And that's what I've really appreciated about living in my own house now, or living with my partner, is that the community is super strong. I used to be like, I want to get home. I want to go to my man cave. I don't want anything else. That's what I used to be like. Now I'm like, hey! I'm like Tim Allen in Home Improvement talking to Wilson across the fence.
Only eyes.
That's
Only
right.
eyes.
Yeah.
Hi ho, neighbor. Yeah, exactly. So I think it's super important. I've got to say, Henry, I've absolutely loved watching your Instagram, and that's not some sort of BS. It's those little videos you do where with your daughter, but it was like a fake Starbucks advert.
Yes.
I absolutely love that. And you looked into the cup. I was like, that's so great. It's so great because it is so believable. I think you've got like a shine on the inside of the tube. What did you use for that, out of curiosity?
Oh, it was just a mark from the coffee.
Really?
Yeah. So I was like, okay, well, that kind of works. I might as well just leave it like that in order to make it more believable that there was,
Ah,
Got
there
you.
was coffee finished, you know.
Right,
super
right, right,
clever.
right.
Yeah, yeah. So it was a very cool trick, and I was surprised because it, it it was a GoPro that I used, right?
Ah,
And
okay.
Oh.
yes, so the GoPro is actually like third generation, so it's like almost 7 years old. And I kept
Mm-hmm.
thinking to myself, like I almost wanted to get rid of the GoPro and upgrade it, but then I'm like, there's so much life with it that I could probably make more use of it.
Yeah,
So
yeah.
having multiple cameras around in order to make these angles the way I wanted to film, I thought, you know what, this is kind of a cool concept. So I took this cup and I literally just put the GoPro in thinking it's not going to fit. And lo and behold, it's at the bottom.
Oh, so
And
it
I
is actually
literally,
a cup.
yeah, it's a real cup.
Nice, nice, perfect. And then you just have it upwards, and then the light
Oh,
automatically.
that's so
Okay, that's
simple, man.
perfect.
Yep.
That's nice.
I was trying to figure out how you sorted that, Henry, because I was like, okay, is he used a poster tube? He's got some gloss in it. There's a stain. What did he do? And it was so simple.
Yeah.
That's great.
That's
But
that's
the
why
coffee
GoPros are
stain,
amazing.
the coffee stain really sells it, and those details in filmmaking,
What
whether you're
matters?
making it exactly, it's essential. Those details are essential, and
Yes.
yeah, more power to you for that because that's
Thank you.
hilarious. I want to see more, man. I want to see more now. And
I'm getting
if it is a GoPro and you've got the waterproof case, maybe
no.
some sort of no.
I took it off.
Oh,
Oh,
okay.
Took
it
it
does
off.
make it bulkier a little. Does make it a little bulky.
Significantly bulkier actually if you had the waterproof case. But I
Ah,
realized that if I had the waterproof case on, I may not get the proper audio from the GoPro 2 if I need to use that as a potential sub.
It'll be
But
muffled. Yeah.
oh yeah, exactly. But then I thought about it. I was like, wait a minute, it's a cup and a coffee. What kind of noise? It probably sounds, muffled anyways to begin with when I'm putting my head in. So,
yeah.
but it worked.
Yeah. Oh no, it definitely worked. How did you get into like filmmaking? Like, what was your first start and push, and how is that different from your main career?
So, it's an interesting question. I think it's one of those things where I had a lot of uh, back and forth thinking about it. So,
Mm.
as much as I did the filmmaking, the real approach of it was more of the recent Canadian Isolation Film Festival. So that
Mm.
kind of triggered my creativity and also my boredom to the point where I have to do something before I go crazy in the house situation, right? So that
Right.
kind of started that filming side of it. But dated back to roughly 2011. I just literally finished my CPA designation, and
Mm.
6 years of school, nonstop, where I was just working full time and doing my studies. Next thing you know, I finish and graduate, and I'm like, I have nothing else to do right now. I'm literally bored, and I'm in Ottawa in Ontario. And one day, I'm just like cleaning out my closet, and I see my trumpet, and then I see my camcorder. And I remember YouTube was just getting hot at the time. So I'm thinking to myself, why don't I create a music video, like a trumpet cover? I've always wanted to do something like that, mix both worlds. Like I wanted to do filmmaking and the trumpet videos. So, with my very infinite like wisdom and naivety, I have no idea of anything about filmmaking, but I've learned that it's better to just give it a try and keep going at it, and you start getting better over time. So I heard this one song, and it's my absolute favorite song that I covered for the first one was Adele by Rolling in the Deep.
Mm.
And I decided, you know what? Okay, what can I do to record this song for Rolling in the Deep with the film, with the music video, so to say, right? So I thought,
Oh, I think. Ooh,
so
frozen. Oh, there we go.
why don't I?
So
Oh, okay.
you just froze for a couple of seconds there, mate.
Oh, okay. So I just figured when I was making the music video, I thought, okay, I know a trick now. I can clone myself, and each
Nice.
each verse I'll play, I'll just like duck and do like this quick change magic and jump up again with a different set of clothes, and then just play the next tune as I harmonize
Right.
with the melody. And it was so much fun that I started creating more trumpet music videos at the beginning, and it became my fun hobby on YouTube. And then it was kind of on and off because life started to happen where I went to get married.
Right.
I moved to BC, so I drove across Canada to finally find my true love, and then had our kid, and now we came back to Toronto, where I continued to pursue more of my acting career seriously, and now explore. Oh, something freeze?
Nope, we got you now. You were frozen for a second.
You were talking about moving back to Toronto and kind of thinking of working on your acting.
Wanting to pursue acting?
Yes. So when we came back to Toronto, we decided to live downtown, and while I do had my family here, we kind of wanted to like my wife, myself, and our newborn. We kind of wanted to stand on our own 2 feet, and we had one single family income, which was mine, working the full-time job, and my wife, she's pursuing her master's in University of Toronto. So we were still in family housing. The coolest thing that happened was we actually got to live downtown. That was my dream, to be in Toronto. Yeah. I just wanted to see everything that was downtown that I imagined as a kid, but I was always in the suburbs, right? And now, having been downtown, all I kept thinking about, like, okay, there's a lot of fun stuff here, but I also know that there's like a studio, like village area where they do all the auditions. So I thought to myself, hey, you know what? This is the only chance I'll have being in downtown Toronto to throw my name in the hat, get my feet wet, and see what makes of it. So I just made this very rash decision, irrational decision, if you will, and threw my name in the hat. And then for some, like lucky reason, I got an audition, and next thing you know, I got a commercial.
Nice. Congrats.
Congrats as well. What was it for?
What was it for? Well, it was for the Canada Child Benefit.
Oh, wow.
That's awesome, man. That's really awesome.
Yeah. So what happened was it was a national commercial, and it's relating to receiving, like, being a recipient for the Canada Child Benefit from the government of Canada. And I thought it was just a web advertisement, like just a web, like on YouTube or something. And then I find out later through my friends that they saw a poster of me in the tube or the subway in the TTC. Yeah. So across Canada, I started getting messages left, right, and center. In the first week, I was incredibly overwhelmed because I didn't know. All my friends and family across Canada saw me either on TV or on here. So they kept sending me pictures, and they're like, hey, it's that diaper guy.
Wow.
So, that's well.
I became known as a diaper guy for the next year in 2019.
Oh my God.
Henry, that's how I'm going to refer to you now, man.
Hey, I'll take it, guys.
I've got to say, props to you. I love how you've got props for this. For us talking to you, you've got this giant photo of yourself. It's great.
I needed a memento somewhere.
Yeah. Oh man, that's awesome. That's a very cool story, and it's such a nice. Was it a nice surprise when you heard it was such a big thing?
Very, very nice surprise, because at that time I had zero experience in acting, and when I found out about it, I called up my actor friend. I was like, "Oh my gosh, I actually got an audition. How did this happen?" And then she said, like, okay, good. You go in, you be that young dad because you are that young dad. This is the Canada Child Benefit, so just be yourself when you go in. So I didn't know what to think of it or how to prepare for it, but I did meet someone who gave me a quick private lesson about slates. And he goes by the name of Michael Gordon Shore. So shout out to Michael Gordon Shore. I still remember you for helping me out there. And basically, after that performance of what he taught me, I soaked up as much as I possibly can. and went to the wardrobe fitting and got all my clothes set up for it. Before that, when I went into the audition, it was one of those things where my mind's like, okay, go big or go home. Wayne Gretzky, 100% of the shots you don't take, you know? And I'm like, okay, how much do you want this? And I'm like, oh, you know what? I want this. I'm going to make this count. So I put on like my, just a typical dress shirt like this. Oh no, sorry. It was just a gray shirt. And because they wanted me to wear bland. And then I put on my jacket, and it was around like fall season at the time. I go there and I meet the casting director. She's like, are you ready? I'm like, yeah, I'm always ready. And then in my head, I'm like, no, I'm not ready. I got butterflies in my stomach. My heart's beating like 20 beats per minute. So when I finally got to go in, I opened the door and I just see 10 producers / directors and PAs on the other side of the table. And here I am, I'm coming in, and there's just one seat right in the middle with a light that just like I felt like it was like an interrogation system.
Yeah.
So I'm walking in and I'm like, hey,
like it was Men in Black.
I'm so nervous at this point, right?
Oh
yes, exactly like that. So they tell me, like, I asked them, am I supposed to sit here? I was like, please don't say anything more stupid than that. And they said, no, you can sit. And I'm like, okay, should I take my jacket off? And then the director's like, no, leave it on. Okay. So next thing you know, I'm sitting here and I already felt like 10 seconds turned into 5 minutes because I feel like I'm already nervous. And he asked me this one question. He's like, so what's your story? I don't know. What are you asking me? What's my story? Okay. So I had to quickly ad-lib because I was totally unprepared of what I was going to say. So I said, well, my wife and I, we left our life behind in BC, sold as much furniture as we can. And then we decided to take everything else, squeeze it into our car and drive across Canada to move to Toronto, Ontario. And from there, my wife left her good high-paying job, and I left my paying job, and we were trying to raise our daughter and make that transition over here. And while she's doing her student loans here, I figured, okay, I'm here downtown, and we're doing everything we can to try to support each other financially and get through this hump. And next thing you know, I've been a Child Canada benefit recipient for many, like these last couple of years. And I thought, hey, this is a story I would love to share to the world. And then the director says, sounds like a good story. Well, thank you for your time. And my mind was like, oh my gosh, did I just like screw up the entire time? Because it only lasted 10 minutes. And then I left thinking like, oh, okay, well, it's a life lesson. At least I got to try it. It was kind of cool. And I left it at that. And then the very next morning, I got casted. And there it was. Dream come true.
That's awesome.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow.
And one more thing, they also casted my daughter along with me too.
So where's her poster?
I don't know. You know why?
She's below the waistline in that photo. She's so short in that picture.
Yes, yeah. So she was actually in the commercial video itself. But when I was in the trailer waiting for it to be called up, it was they were kind of 3 hours delayed. I mean, that typically happens from time to time for production, right? So originally I was scheduled to do the shoot with her at 9 and then bumped into 12 p.m. And by the time it hit 12 p.m., it was nap time for her. So she wasn't having it when we were on camera. So all I kept thinking was like they were literally having her on my lap and I'm trying to do the commercial, but she was moving, right? And I still remember them saying, okay, we're gonna have to remove Ria, my daughter, from the set. And I remember them taking her, and I lost all confidence because all I kept thinking is like, no, she's not gonna be in this shoot. I was so nervous. And then luckily enough, they were still able to fit like 1 second of her in the footage, and it just made my day and my dream come true to share this beautiful moment with Ria. And you know, there's many more to come from there.
Absolutely.
I think that that was one of the things we all, Nadia and I and Chris, we all
Yeah.
enjoyed about your film is the strong bond between you and your daughter, is it Ria? And
Yeah.
I think and it's just so evident that you two are so close. And it's almost like you've injected some sarcasm in her character in the film as well, in terms of she's messing you about, and your reaction, your reaction at the table in the kitchen, I love it, absolutely love it, and it's a wonderful little short. And what's the name of your other film, the trumpet music video that you submitted?
I thought it was Speaking Trumpet.
That's the one.
Speaking from the Trumpet is the channel, and then if you're the latest video I did, I don't know if you're referring to that one, Level of Concern. Is that the one?
I think so. Yeah.
Okay, so Level of Concern, yes. So that one I just created. Going back to our as an artist, I see, and like a lot of my friends and family who are in the front line, and they've been doing a lot of things that no other person can do, and clearly they're the heroes here. And I'm not a frontline worker. However, I am an artist in terms of making music videos, and I figured, you know what, I should make this music video to kind of give a shout out to the frontline workers, and because we have this whole clap your hands movement at 7 p.m.
here as well,
and there you go. So because of that, I decided to make that video, change up the lyrics, and try to just promote that and let people know that that even artists like myself, we see you guys, we hear you, and we thank you so much for the services you guys are doing right now, because we need it.
We do, and it makes a world of a difference. And I can only imagine how, the amount of fatigue, the amount of stress, the emotional toll that they're taking on, because they're seeing so much in such a short amount of time with limited information, trying to do their best with what they have, right? So, I mean, these people are just the real superheroes, like you said, for sure.
Absolutely.
So, Henry, how long have you been making your own kind of content, your own videos for?
So my content's is roughly 9 years now. In terms of the filmmaking stuff, definitely just these last couple of months. So
oh wow.
Yeah. So I only attempted this because there were some great challenges that have been happening around casting directors here in Toronto. So they had the Isolation Festival was one of them, and then I saw your Isolation Festival pop up right after. I was like, this is cool, it's going everywhere now. And then I figured I'll give it a shot. And then another casting director had like self-taped weekly challenges, so I learned to try to do certain of those things. Then I thought to myself, you know what, I have multiple cameras here, and my understanding was that there are you can always work within your limitations with what you have. You may not have the best camera. Yeah, you may not have the best camera or microphone or anything out there, but if you can execute the dialogue, the story, what you want to project to the audience, I think that will go a long way. And eventually, when you do get the opportunities to start using the equipment, you'll learn more from it. And for a long time, I knew how to at least use some of the basic necessity of the software of Vegas and Audacity, like all these things. And I soaked up all the knowledge that I also taken from my very good friends. They run this channel called Pandoodles, where I've seen them.
I've spoken to Michael Chan.
Michael Chan, yes.
Yeah. And from Switch, yeah. Michael's an absolute dude. I'm going to be on his podcast soon. So, and I think it's such a, because it's such a great Pandoodles is such a great idea in terms of finding that community. If you can't, even if it's just having one or two other people just to make content or films, it's a really strong, I think it creates a really strong bond in Toronto and the wider area. And it's a wonderful idea. It really is, especially in communities when you're not necessarily going to be given a chance, and creating your own content is so important. Nadia's creating a lot of her own content now. I'm trying to do as much as I can. I take on too much sometimes. But then
Mm-hmm.
I love the content you guys are creating. And how did that kind of start? How did you become part of that?
So this was one of those things when once I got the commercial done, I
Mm-hmm.
also had a audition that was given to me by one of the members of Pandoodles. So they didn't start Pandoodles yet at that time. So this was like 3 years ago. And it was an
Okay.
individual who was very ambitious by the name of Ryan Liu. He wanted to create a feature film. And feature film was called Poor Lucky Rich Boy. And when I got to do that audition, I got to meet him face to face and actually had him to do it. And while I didn't get the part, we built a really, really good relationship where it came to that point where he said, like, you may not be able to get this feature film, but I can see you and I working together someday in the future. So
That's good.
fast forward to last October when things were starting to pick up and the commercial finally started to show for the Canada Child Benefit. He approached me about Pandoodles, and I saw him starting the channel. I was like, oh, I see you and like 3 other guys. Like, man, you guys must have go way back. And then he told me, no, we just got together and did our thing, and we used our own strengths and got together. I was like, really? I was like, how did you guys meet? It's like at a creative club, so to say, right? And when I heard about that, he said, if you want to do a short, I would love to put you in and give you a shot. And that opened up to a world of like possibilities. And I got to meet so many great creative people there and hear their stories. And
Right.
I was just enamored of the fact of the dedication that they had running on a literally shoestring budget, if you will, by setting up a campsite in the cold winters for 18-hour shoot for this short film. So we did 1 day, 18-hour shoot in the cold winters of Scarborough in a particular park. And I remember it being really cold. Luckily, I got casted with the guy that gets to wear the jacket. I feel bad for Jacob though. Shout out to Jacob, by the way. But yeah, but we all had to. We all got together and just made magic, and that is something that I always admired. Like as much as I like the actor being in the front lens, I'm
Mm-hmm.
a much fan of the backstage people.
Yeah.
The behind the scenes of everything that they do, holding that boom mic or doing the video editing, hitting the sound and recording and direction and all that. And the patience, also the patience. And
Yeah.
because everybody has talent, and I know we all have, everybody's wearing a chef hat, but the idea of respect and listening and working together to get that product done within a time period, that's what's magical.
Yeah, for
Absolutely.
sure.
There's when everyone has a common goal and has the same vision, or you can see what the director or the writer's trying to do, and you can all get on board with that. It's a very special thing. That's why some of the best filmmakers worldwide, or the biggest, work with the same team, because they know it's not just they do a very high standard. They get the vision, and it doesn't matter if you're working on a zero budget to like the biggest budget. It really matters that you have that connection. Like I watched a documentary by the I think it's Edgar Sanchez who directed the Blair Witch Project, and he talked about the budget and how they had extended loans. They maxed out credit cards just to pay for the film. Obviously, they made some serious money off that, but
it surely did.
The dedication they had to shoot in the woods for such a long period, which they did, and it's great, man. You can absolutely make a gem of a film. Like, take for an example, the French film that won best film for our awards. They've got a clear connection with his son, and that made the film almost doesn't matter what the film's about. It's if you've got a connection with an actor, or you've got a connection with another writer in Pandoodles, you can absolutely make some magic.
Oh yeah, so, very true.
How did the film turn out? Were you happy with it?
Oh, absolutely. I was so enamored. The very first shot when they were just at the dark, right? So they were concerned about having to try to get a shot at the night in nighttime, right? But we weren't able to get that shot because it was pretty much long hours, and we pretty much finished what we did. And then my buddy Fred Fontaine, who is one of the Panduros members, he did the coloring. So he learned how to color and make sure that the scene looked as evening as possible, if you will.
Right, right.
Day for night or something.
Day to night, yes, exactly. And the minute he did that, I was like, okay, we're gonna see some real magic here. And the next thing you know, when I appear and I held my phone, I don't know if you guys saw the smoke coming out of the phone.
I've not seen the film yet.
I haven't seen the film.
Okay, so like some very trippy magic. At least to me, it's huge. It's very trippy magic where I pick up the phone and he tells me to just say yes, and then when I eventually say yes, smoke comes out of the phone, and I'm supposed to drop it. The smoke comes from the e-cigarettes and a tube.
Oh, and then you just
right in here, yeah. So there was no CG
Right.
or anything like that. It was literally someone smoking a cigarette and trying to push it through the tube once I, say yes.
right.
And then it comes out, and I'm supposed to get that shot done right to drop it. And from there, they had to play some tricks about getting a cop, like getting the gin to appear magically, and then dropping cookies, stuff like that. And those first little tidbits of those details caught my attention, and like I would imagine it may have maybe caught others to just keep watching it. And that's what made it so brilliant. And then the dialogue on top of that too.
Absolutely. Independent filmmaking is really where I think a lot of people involved, including actors or performers,
Yeah.
learn the most. Because if you're an actor on set of a giant movie, how much are you really going to know about the behind the scenes technical stuff? And I love those stories, man. I love when you see a little detail of something like that achieved. It's really quite magical. And then you start, oh right, how does that work? And you learn so much. That must have been such a good learning experience working on that film.
Oh yeah, and that and being able to be involved in helping out some of the things that they were doing kind of gave me that eye-opening experience. Like that's why I make it an effort that whenever something like this comes out, that I want the people who are behind the scenes to be acknowledged for it. Because I find that sometimes when I see the films and I see all the people, you always focus on the actor, but I also really at the end of the day, like that's only like less than half the battle. They got like the 3/4 of the battle taken care of the rest of the shoot. So kudos to them. And since then, I just personally call them up to just like hear their stories and find out how they even got to where they are. Like that's what makes it very. Yeah. And everybody has a story to tell, and I'm very thankful to have been a part of it. And there's a rumor that it's probably come out. They're gonna come out some more scenes or short films when COVID lifts. So
Hopefully, I think everybody wants to get back to work. And with you going through that experience and then you getting into film now, from that experience, how has that helped you with your own workflow or your own storyboarding? And how do you approach your short film making?
Well, so now I know that basically I should write down a concept instead of trying to just like play it up in my head and figure out what I need to do. The first thing I needed to do was do a write-up, like a script, right? And now I learned the ways of how there's actually a word template. I didn't know that existed, where you just have the same, that format the script. I don't know what font it is, but everybody seems to use it. So I learned that from them. It also opened up to an opportunity with another actor friend that I learned that invited me to script readings. So I get to play many particular roles of popular movies. Yeah, I get to play many roles of particular movies that normally we probably wouldn't have been casted. But the beauty of doing this allows us to use what we know and our skill set to make it more entertaining and fun at the same time. It didn't have to be one-to-one to the movie, right? So that was great. And then basically I was given another opportunity where my agent managed to get me as a kind of like a podcast host, kind of like what we're doing right now, where I am now highlighting singers and actors and hearing their stories, which allows me to kind of build on my improvisation skills and also communication, for if you will. So to get a better idea of, hey, if I ever end up in an interview, I better be ready. Oh wait, I'm here right now. So like, right, so to say. So but basically at the end of the day, the filmmaking side of things has now made me focus on kind of like the niches that I really like to do. So
Right.
commercial seems to be a fun one because it gives me ideas to be able to execute it in short amount of time. But I now also put myself in a challenge where there's this theory where usually, like, when you have the most limited set of equipment or time that you have, what can
Mhm.
you do to get people's attention within the first 2 seconds? If you can do that, you're gonna be able to get them all the way to the rest of the minute.
Right, right.
That's the
Yeah.
goal that I like to do in the magic of filming. Yeah. So aside from that, I also have my daughter who loves to play with the filmmaking too. So I'm so happy that she likes to be involved. So she's like she's my co-star. She's the star, actually. She's the star, honestly, that builds up on this whole thing. And I like to make the joke that if it wasn't for all those dirty diapers, I probably wouldn't have got to here.
That's true. That's true.
That's so true, man. Yeah, and
And
yeah,
how is she to work with? Like, does she always get what you're trying to do in terms of teaching her the script? Does she always gets it at first, or?
She gets it now. After showing her the final product of Happy ISO Kid, she now likes to role play when she realizes I'm redoing the Happy ISO Kid again in front of her during breakfast, right? So
Oh,
that's
she,
really cool that she like. That's a great question, Nadia. It's that she gets that. That's really cool because then you can in the future you're going to be making short films with her, and that bond you're going to get between the two of you, it's going to be completely unique compared to so many other people.
for sure.
And
Absolutely.
and
oh yeah.
yeah, you should do some sort of fake Starbucks commercial with her as well.
Yeah, I tried to bring her into the Starbucks commercial for that one because the joke,
More
so the title,
coffee, more coffee.
exactly. But here's the thing, the title of the coffee is O Via Via, right? Starbucks Via.
Mhm.
My daughter's name is Ria. It was supposed to be O Ria Ria as the concept, leading to
Right.
O Via Via. But of course, it didn't pan out the way I wanted it to be, and I was running on a tight schedule at the time. So I ended up making O Via Via, and now, like, to your point, Alex, I've actually been contemplating trying to do some sort of a parody off of that commercial featuring
Right.
Ria in this case. So it has been in my mind for quite some time. I just have to figure out what's the proper execution in order for her to to really enjoy this commercial making.
Yeah. Do you find what you were saying about writing a treatment and writing this the kind of concept of a film or a short film? Because do you find that is a really big aid? It's like it's very difficult to find the story because
Oh yeah.
visually when I'm trying to write I've written this advert for a Roman tour company because Chester's a Roman city in the UK, and I've got a great idea, and the only way I achieved the overall idea, and I sold it, didn't physically sell it, but I
Mhm.
sold the idea to the tour company, was based on the storyboards. And when I did the storyboards, I think it was like 7 or 8 pages of storyboards. I was
Mhm.
so happy with what I got, and then
Mhm.
they saw the clear idea as well. So
Mhm.
did you kind of have you got a clear idea of some of your filmmaking before you put it on the page, or as soon as you put it on the page, is it this is the real idea?
Yeah, yeah, definitely. I can definitely relate on the storyboarding idea. So, um, initially when I write the storyboard, I kind of like mark it out like the typical like picture, 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 right? Scene, and then
Right.
I try to order the scenes in order to make sure which one executes better than the other. And most of the times when I do come up with all these scenes, they're not actually in order. I tend to often just like end up doing something here and then something towards the end, and then I try to fit the stuff in the middle. It's almost like a puzzle piece, and it makes it for a better workflow because when I did originally start on a like beginning to end basis, it created a lot of bottlenecks and also my creative thought process, and I end up getting writer's block. So because of that, I had to figure out different ways to kind of cut through it and figure out that if this works, then maybe something in the middle will start to like fill into my idea saying, oh, you know what, that's a good idea, right?
Yeah.
So like going back to the whole Starbucks commercial, the very first concept that came up in what I wanted to do with it was actually the magic trick, right? So the one where you slide and then the via pops out. And from there, I thought, okay, that's going to be the kicker that I want to do. But what else can I do at the beginning that will also be kickers? And I know that when I created that commercial, I was concerned that it was a little too slow, like the execution in the story. But I figured, okay, at some point I got to do something that would get people's attention, and that's where the whole GoPro idea came about. And that became the next bit of thing that I wanted to do to capture it. And then once these two things started to happen, I remember just like I was just driving like across town for 45 minutes, and I kept thinking about the commercial. And the next thing I just started shouting out loud, "Oh, via, something nice to meet you." And I was like, you know what? That's catchy.
That's it.
And then all that just came together, and I no longer had to like figure out what's the rest of the scenes. I just had to start putting it together, and eventually it became organic. And I think the beauty of these filmmaking ideas, storyboarding, is that your best ideas come when it's organic. As long as you're not forcing it, you'll start to actually make it go through, and it just makes it so much better of your passion for this process.
That's so true, man. When I was writing storyboards for this Roman tour idea, it's basically a narrative about a flag mast being stolen, and I made a mistake with one of my storyboards, and instead of just rubbing it out, I thought, all right, I'll draw something else on this board. It actually gave me another idea for something else, and it actually made the idea stronger overall. So those little moments are absolute magic, and you've almost got like an editor's mind as well, because you've got to shoot to edit.
Yeah.
Because especially when you're working on your own, you have to know way more that going into the edit than if you're on a huge movie, because you shoot so much on a huge movie.
And you cut so much.
Exactly, yeah. So, yeah, and never throw, like, if you've got footage, never throw it away. Because look at
Absolutely.
Look at Apocalypse
Never
Now.
throw it away.
Look at Apocalypse Now, the opening. It was in a film bin, and it was just an explosion from that huge scene in a helicopter attack.
Yes.
So it's, that's very cool, man. And I want to see more. I want to see more comedy.
Thank you.
I want to see more Rhea. I think it must be so amazing for like her confidence and, keeping her engaged, because I'm sure she misses her friends, during isolation. So it's great to see that she's engaged in that way.
Yeah. Do you guys want to see her now? I can hear her right outside in this bedroom.
I bet she's trying to reach up to turn off the light switch.
She's already done that many times, actually.
Yeah.
Hey, Rhea. You want to come over here?
It's the star. It's the star. Hello.
Say hi, Rhea.
How are you, my dear?
Can't even sit. I'm hanging on. I'm just a monkey locked in my dad's and mom's house.
That's awesome.
I loved your movie, Rhea. It was so good.
Say thank you. Do you know which one they're talking about? Happy ISO Kid? You know the one where you said, Daddy, I can play the piano better than you.
But my dad did that with me, but he collected. But my dad has a lot of videos on his phone.
Oh, he recorded with his phone.
My dad's phone.
Yeah.
Oh.
Yep. Well, that's Rhea for you. These are the guys that remember I told you that we made it onto their montage. I showed you the video and it was like, we made it. Do you remember that?
But I have a couple toys, but they're really simple and hard.
Okay, that was random. Okay. Well, do you
Nice
want
to
to
meet
say
you, Rhea.
say bye-bye?
It's good to see you.
Bye.
I'll see you in another movie.
Bye.
Okay, bye.
That was awesome.
She's cool, man. That's so cool.
She's so adorable.
Thank you. I don't even know what she was saying, but I'm glad that was pretty funny.
Yeah. These
She's super sweet.
These are little gems. She might come up with the next Casablanca idea. You know what I mean? So it's might,
I gotta keep an open mind.
Absolutely, because I guess that I don't have children or anything at the moment, but it's where you can easily dismiss something they're saying because you're focused on making the dinner or washing the clothes or whatever, and so if you can almost have a second mind.
Oh yeah.
Just that you probably have little gems like you can mine.
Oh, believe me, like a Mother's Day. There was a video I actually put up too. This was actually for Mother's Day, and I originally was going to cook the breakfast in bed for my wife, and Ria was going to be my assistant. The role got reversed. She became. She's like, I want to crack the eggs. I want to cook the eggs, and I'm like, well, I guess I'll be the cameraman now. So I slapped together the Mother Day video to show the world and all that my kid wants to cook, and like I've had some concerns from other parents where they say like you shouldn't let your kid cook or use the oven and whatnot, but she wanted to cook. That's how I saw it, right? Like so.
Yeah.
So
and you were there, so
yeah, and I was there, so I'm supervising. I'm thinking to myself, you know what? Like, keep this open mind because the things that she does, I learn more from her than she does learn from me.
Wow.
So, and she doesn't even know that. That's what's incredible because she is the one that has actually allowed me to keep that open mind, that creative mindset. The things that the little things that she doesn't have a fear at all of doing. And it just kind of emphasized on the concept that, I have to fear less, like, I mean, it's a good idea to fear less instead of limiting your mindset from the negative thinking and the predispositions of other people's concerns and their fears. If I keep falling in that trap, I may not be able to create the next short film that I want to make. And when I finally saw what she was doing, I was like, yeah, you're right. We should just roll down the hill, do whatever. Let's just like make mistakes and learn from it. And that in itself is something that I could not trade for anything in the world because she's taught me a lot in such a short period of time.
Absolutely, and she's your muse now.
Yeah, so true.
Yeah. I'm getting a dog in about 6 to 10 weeks, and for the whole life of that dog, we're together, it's going to be my muse. Like Vicky, my partner, she doesn't want to be in anything I shoot. Like, oh no, you're not shooting again. You're not shooting again, are you? But I'm absolutely going to do that.
You're gonna enjoy it. I'll tell you that.
Yeah, I know it's very cool, man. And when you look at the footage and the thing you're creating with her, it's like taking a photograph of a family photo as well, isn't it?
Yes, very true. And it's live, or at least it has audio and everything. And it's so cool because she also gets to be like the reviewer / critics for it. So yeah. So like from an actor's perspective and a director's perspective, it's very cool to see the reactions coming from her because they're absolutely genuine, right? So if she's
for sure.
Yeah, she's genuinely scared, or she's actually laughing, or she actually does question, why did you do that? Like stuff like that. But at the end of the day, it gives me some very good feedback as to what works and what doesn't. And I find it's usually kind of like a life cycle, right? They're always gotta keep experimenting all these little tricks that you do, and if it doesn't work, you try again. And then eventually, once you start sharpening that skill set that you're having, you eventually will find something that actually works. And yeah, she's just another great. I don't want to call her focus group because she's my daughter. I just love her.
I mean, she's the greatest coworker you'll ever have.
Yes,
And
exactly.
I think it's amazing that you have this new way to bond with your daughter and a new way to interact with her. And, as you're becoming less fearful, she is just becoming so encouraged and so empowered to express herself in so many different ways. Like, she has such a big personality, and
Absolutely.
she's just gonna be so better off in the future because of this experience with you.
Exactly, and I do hope that that she keeps growing that confidence, because I really love everything that she's done to this day. And like I hope to try to be the best father that I can to her life, because I find that both mothers and fathers need to be in a child's life at the end of the day.
Mhm.
And
Mhm.
whatever the ups and downs, there's going to be a situation where sometimes my wife may not be able to be there, which means I had to step up, and vice versa. And at the end of the day, we collectively take the wheel, if you will, in order to try to make sure that the family unit as a whole go together, and make sure that Ria is on her way to the right direction that she wants. And at the end of the day, I also know never to tell her what to do too much, because I don't want to put too much pressure. Because if she wants to do something, there's a good reason why. Let's see why she's doing it,
Yeah.
and it's
Ah.
just even
Yeah.
more beautiful once you see it.
Absolutely. You're feeding her curiosity. I think that's super important. That you're not putting restrictions on that, because if you don't have the time, or you didn't have the time or anything like that, then someone can feel stunted, not on purpose, but can feel
Right.
like they can only ask so much in terms of the curiosity. And I think it's, like Nadia said, it's an absolutely wonderful new way to bond with your daughter as well. And we've seen that with a few of our filmmakers actually, and
Mm,
Yeah.
it's really fruitful, the kind of content and the back and forth. You have this kind of creativity that not many people have with their parents or
yeah.
siblings, because we've seen brothers and sisters working on films together, and they've got a
Mm,
closer bond because they're creating something together.
hmm.
And like Nadia has been part of the festival for, I'd say in spirit, for the whole 12 weeks, but in the last 5 to 6 weeks, kind of we've gotten closer. We've known each other for over 10 years now, so
I would say, yeah.
over 10 years
Mhm.
now, and
Wow.
we've always kind of wanted to work on something together. And it was great that that she came aboard, and it's kind of bared fruit because we already have an understanding and a great
Yep.
friendship. And having that kind of connection with your daughter, it's obviously so fantastic, and it shows in the film. It really does show in the film.
Oh, thank you, thank you. I appreciate that. And you're now like the second guy that's actually said that to me. Literally yesterday, I was talking to my former coworker, and I guess I never really thought about it that way until I learned about this theory, the Jahari window. I don't know if you guys ever heard of it.
No, what's it about?
Okay, so the Jahari window, think of it as a chart, right? So you have the y-axis and then the x-axis. The y-axis being the amount of people, like the amount of people that actually know your talents, and then the x-axis of
Mhm.
the talent that you know of your own. Uh, let's just ignore like the chart itself, but rather know the four quadrants, right? So quadrant one is about you knowing your talent, but the people don't know you. So
Mhm.
in this quadrant, it is up to you, your responsibility to show your talents, take the initiative on your own to show the talents, so that the people will start realizing who you are. The second quadrant is the one where the people know your talent, but you don't know your talent.
Right.
So
Right.
in other words, they're the ones that actually come, like they see what you're doing, and even though you could be the most self-critical of what you think you are that you're not, they actually come out to you and they tell you, you know what, you have an incredible skill at acting, or you're a really good like parent, or you have a nice daughter, and you're like, oh wow, I never realized that, like, type of thing. And now it's kind of like you decide whether you want to soak that information and take it face value, or just say no, that's not true. But that's up to you, right? To each their own.
Right.
Yeah. So reaching to the third quadrant is the one where they don't know your talent and you don't know the talent, so it never comes close. So that doesn't matter, right?
Mm-hmm.
But the final one is the one where is the best quadrant to be in, where you have shown your talent and people recognize your talent, and now you're working together or watching each other to embrace that ability. And in that Jahari window, my coworker buddy, he told me, like, yeah, I can really see, kind of like what you said, Alex, that he could really see the bond between my daughter and myself. And it was very validating. And I was like thinking to myself, oh, you're a good father too. Like I'm like, I don't think I'm that good. But now that you're saying like this, I should probably take a step back and stop criticizing myself about it and appreciate it, the face value. So thank you for that.
It's a different energy. It's it's completely different energy. Like in a very small way, when I worked with my father on a few things and I've helped him with cabling in a loft space, small stuff. It's really gratifying to have that with a family member, a sibling, a partner, when you work together on something. But when it's someone you already have a bond with and you have creativity, not necessarily a job a task you both do, something you both enjoy, it's a very unique thing.
Synergy. It's synergy.
No, exactly. It's synergy, because just like Alex was saying, I joined in maybe in the last 6-7 weeks to, add some flavor to the festival and to, add in some little things here and there.
Mhm.
And he has pushed me in ways to come out of my shell, because I like to be behind the scenes. I like to be, that silent force that's making things shake and move in the background, and then boom, amazingness, right? But he really wanted me to come to the forefront, and I was like, no, I don't want to. I don't know how. I'm not used to this. And he's like, just try it, just have fun. We're building a community here with like-minded creators.
Yeah.
And we definitely, I definitely wanted to make sure everyone saw everyone and all the perspectives were shown. So
Yeah.
I can totally relate to the Jahar method in terms of me receiving that feedback from Alex and now being pushed into doing my own things in front of the camera. So that I'm glad that there's a name and a term for it, so I can read up more about it, so I can be more confident and learn when to be open to receive all that's good,
Yeah. Well, like now, if you could hear it from me, because we just met literally, I thought you were naturally doing this all the time, the whole time. This is your first few times? Oh my gosh.
This is the first time Nadia's hosted the podcast.
Yeah, that's amazing. You're
But guys,
I like to talk and connect with people.
Yeah.
But we live in Toronto, very far away from our family. From our family, our neighbors close to us.
Yes, I'm far too. I'm all the way in the United States.
Ah, you have to fly there. And then Mr. Alex here is in the UK. We have to fly even further over there.
Even further away.
That's so cool.
But yeah, that's the thing. Like so as me coming into this and seeing you and Alex collaborate together, you guys bring a lot of synergy, and because of that, the strengths really are accentuated, and whatever weaknesses you guys may have has been hidden, right? Basically,
thanks.
At the end of the day, so I can't even see any of that, because I genuinely thought that you guys have been doing this for forever, which is amazing.
It's kind of that bond that Nadia and I have. It's based on. It was based on something very simple on Twitter years ago, and that's how we met. It was a hashtag about an app.
Yeah.
It was a Twitter. What was it called? What do you call it?
It was Tweetbot.
Tweetbot, and that's all it was. I saw. She said something about being a poor student and not being able to afford the app, and I had a free version of it for some reason, and I sent that to her, and that was it. And then we became friends just on that. And
just like that.
What a story!
And then
just like that.
We've been talking
simple, genuine, just like that.
Yeah, and as you can tell from her presentation skills on the awards show, the energy is so different. Like Chris has got his presentation style. I mumble my way through things, and then Nadia's got the flavor. You know what I mean in terms of the actual energy, and it works so well for us. It wasn't. Ah. It wasn't bringing Nadia in because it's just another voice. It was
Yes.
the energy. It was completely different, and it just works so well. And the only obviously we talked through composition and all of that, and the only
Yeah.
thing I was asking Nadia to do was to put a prop in the background. She didn't want me to do.
He wanted me to put my guitar on, like, in front of this panel right here. And I was like, why would I do that? Because in my mind, he's seeing from the viewer's perspective.
Yes.
But in my mind, I'm looking at what the monitor says, and I know that this is my bed. So I did not want to put a guitar on my bed because I know that's so silly in my mind because I didn't want to put a guitar on my bed. But he said, no one would know it's your bed if you put the guitar there in the first place.
Yep.
So perception, perspective,
it's in
viewpoint.
one video. It's in one video.
One, as you can see.
So it's interesting that you brought this up. I just learned that trick actually that Alex brought up about hosting. So normally I actually would have had more hats here, but some of them are now in the laundry because I played tennis. I'm sorry, guys.
No, you're fine.
Yeah, but I had it here as kind of a backdrop, which doesn't have anything to do with the hosting, but rather I learned that putting these backdrops is more of a way to enhance like the eye, like the popping of the backdrop when you're talking, that people like, oh, okay, if I don't want to keep like staring at your face, I can go check out like that hat. Oh, look,
Exactly.
it's what is that hat? Oh, do you play the guitar? Like, what is that? I'm very curious. So I think is that what you were trying to go for, Alex? Or
yeah, it's all about. It wasn't trying to create a fake personality for Nadia because she doesn't need any additional personality. It's there on camera. You know what I mean?
Yes, yes.
Like, I didn't know that this color, this stiff key blue background, was going to be the color for everything I do now. But because of the way the light drops on me, I'm so happy with it. I don't really need anything else, and I switched from Vicky, my partner. She said, "Why didn't you go for the wider lens?" And I thought, "No, I like the close up. I like the tight shot." And now I switched to an old Soviet lens that I've got for this, and this just makes everything a bit more welcoming. People get a flavor of things I'm doing. Obviously, things like this color chart don't need to be in the shot, but it adds legitimacy to a certain degree. And all the mess is on this side.
Right?
Yeah.
So I have to take all my pillows off the bed. I have to like shift things that's personal out of the frame. So like you said, the only things that you can see within my frame are things that I want to be reflective of me, right?
Yes.
So I have the books that I've read, and my switch is here, my calculator's in the background, textbooks. So obviously I am a grad student that's doing her thing on the side and trying to take this pocket of my room to create like my space to create. So just like how you have your space to create. And I think that's so important to the creative process as a whole, having that specific cutout for you to be able to do the work that you do.
Absolutely. I would say on that point, if you look at YouTubers across the board, they create a set, it's all set dressing effectively.
Yes. Yeah, it's like a studio.
But so much of it is what's not contrite. It's so obvious. Like here's the worst one now, Henry, that you'll spot 100 times tomorrow, is when a YouTuber has obviously all the nice lights. A YouTuber that does photography or video that doesn't have good lighting, that's a different thing. But has their lenses stacked up on a shelf. No one in their right mind has lenses stacked like that because there's so much dust. And when you got dust in lenses, it's a whole thing.
It's a whole nother thing, and it's so expensive. Lenses are expensive. I'm working with my kit lens, and that's it.
Yeah. Oh my gosh, that's incredible. Like, but like, is that what? Yeah. Sorry about that.
Basically, it's like with my shot and with Nadia's, we want a genuine vibe, well composed. And I totally agree with what Nadia said about removing the guitar because it's what makes you feel comfortable. Like, is
Yeah.
this actually your little office, Henry?
This has become my office now, and because of all the hosting that I've been doing on my own projects, it became, I realized the setup is a lot easier to put it here than to originally put it in the bedroom, because the chances of potential interference of any anything that's happening,
It's high.
so because of that, I would just, bring my MacBook. I got my mic, and then like my headphones sometimes, and then I just go at it. And the thing is like, yeah, I totally agree that whatever your backdrop is what makes you you. And
Right.
I've been constantly told that yeah, you do want to add some personality to make it look as legitimate as possible. But we all know on the surface, at the end of the day, that you're probably wearing nothing but underpants, and you're just doing your shoot because the rest of it is up above here. And
I've got red shorts on and flip flops.
oh yeah,
I'm wearing leggings.
me too. Me too.
What you won't realize is, I'll let you a little secret, Henry, is that during the awards show I was wearing sweatpants.
There you go.
So I did the whole newsreader thing where you always think, what are they wearing underneath the table? So from here upwards, I know my composition and I know my limits in terms of stretching. So I was wearing sweatpants and no socks, and it was such a good look.
It was beautiful. It's beautiful, isn't it? Like the magic of Zoom. The magic.
Right.
I've got to say, Henry, I don't know if you do this already, but there's untapped potential for a show based in your closet. I honestly believe that if you've got like a wide angle, maybe in the future, if you've got a camera with a wider angle, like a 16mm or 8mm or something, and you show just the closet and you're in the center, there's a podcast or there's something to that.
My name is Henry. He is my dad, Henry.
Yeah, that's right. So I think there's something to that in terms of storytelling, or like there's a catchy thing, because when I saw your shot, I knew it was the closet, but it's a very friendly, welcoming composition as
environment.
well.
Yes.
So I would definitely go down that route of shooting more in that space, honestly.
Okay. Yeah, you know what? That's probably a good idea. I mean, there was a time where I tried doing something, but now when you say it like that, now I'm going to explore further. But I did test footage, and now once I get the proper lighting, I think there is something I could probably do with this.
Yeah,
because right.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Like you want to get some sort of I don't know what it's called your side, but you get some sort of like tracing paper or white paper to diffuse the light in the room, and that'll make a huge difference. And then you have a light in front of you. I think that'll work really well, so you can use available lighting and just kind of light yourself a little bit more.
Yes.
And then this is just thinking of an idea, but you could almost make an intro to a show, and you're trying to find somewhere in the house to do your show, and you're going around different rooms. I can't do it here. I can't do it here. And then you find the closet, and then you step in, and the title appears, something like that.
That is genius.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh.
And you could shoot something really cool with Rhea as well, in terms of she's always around the house.
Yeah, that's so true too.
I mean, I think that's what we need to get back to, is just that authentic feeling of what really happens.
Yeah.
Because we relate to that more. A lot of the comments that we received after the film festival was that people related to what the community created. Everything that was shown, people made comments about how, my dog does this, or, they were talking about how, like, the animals and the relationship within it's just so beautiful to see what people connected to, because it came from independent filmmakers who don't have the big bucks, who don't have the millions of dollars or the high paid actresses. These are everyday people connecting with everyday people. And I think that's the greatest way to build community, because it's so authentic. So I definitely think you should consider that.
Yeah, I want to see that now.
Absolutely.
I'm going to check in weekly, Henry.
I will let you know where my concept's going, because I'll definitely put some credit. Alex Blackburn is the one that came up with that idea, you know.
No, you can have the idea, because I think it's such a nice idea. It's disarming. The room you're in is disarming, because you have got the is it costumes or clothing on the left, whatever that is, and then there's something very comforting about the shop. But there's actually a TV show in the UK called. It was Philip Schofield broom closet. It was kind of like a closet, but it was with a hand puppet and this presenter who's been a staple of UK TV for like 30 years now. And the set, it was on BBC, so it was like the biggest thing in the UK in terms of television production. But the actual show was the size of what you're in. And it was
no way.
It was one of the biggest kids shows for 15, 20 years.
It can't be the Muppet Show.
No, it was just this presenter, Philip Schofield, and this talking, this hand puppet that someone obviously else was doing, and it was reacting to what he was saying. And because of the room, it was tiny, and it wasn't just this fancy set. It was really disarming, and people found comfort in it, and I did. I've kind of loved this presenter for years, based on this thing he used to do, and that's what this shop to me is. So I would see it as an advantage. Oh, this is where I need to hide, and this is where I need to work on my own. But there's something very cool about this for me. That's what I like about it.
Well, I appreciate you letting me know on this idea, because it also inspires me to start thinking again as to what I want to do next.
Yeah.
Thank you so much.
Definitely.
Definitely
use what you have, use your space, because you're already connected to everything in your house, in your space. So you being connected to those areas, you will be so comfortable to just exude the natural connection and energy, like you do with Rhea when you're shooting with her. I definitely think that you'll come up with amazing ideas in your own home versus going to a set. You got new people, you don't know this, where you're going. They're like, you're out of place because you are out of place. I think it's really awesome that
and there's pretty much like no limit in terms of time as well, because the time allows me, like, especially as a parent, like I have to focus on this at the same time. But when she finally goes to bed or has her own nap time break, I'm like, you know what, this is a good opportunity for me to now just explore what possibilities I can in terms of getting the right frame, the right shot, and exuding the type of emotion that I really want to get out of that frame itself. So that is actually a wonderful idea that you guys said that. I really appreciate it.
Like story and storytelling is king. It doesn't matter what your composition is in the end. If you've got, if you can connect, like the content you've created on your Instagram, Nadia and I can tell the kind of guy you are, friendly, approachable, and that little video you did for us in terms of being mentioned on the montage, that was my favorite feedback of the entire weekend.
Oh, thank you.
Because it was such a genuine thing, and you did the same facial expression from your reaction to the shot, and I was like, I loved it. Honestly, mate, you made my weekend when you did that. I absolutely loved it. So it's things that the content you're creating is absolutely working, and it's not from a place of, oh, I'm going to manipulate people to like me. It's coming from a real, genuine place, and I think that's from, your relationship with your daughter, your family dynamic. I think that energy, that positivity comes from that.
Oh, thank you so much for that. Like that was pretty much when I saw that moment, I had no idea, honestly, that there was a montage. I saw the emails you sent, right? And then I thought, okay, cool, I'm gonna watch it. And then eventually it popped up. I'm like, no way. So I just thought to myself, you know what, I'm a big fan of capturing the moment. And when I know something is very genuine, I want to be able to put it on some film or put it on some a picture, whatever the case may be. And for some reason, I just wanted to give you guys that shout out, because the show you guys put together is incredible. Like the things that I don't know how many people are behind the team. I'm assuming it's the three of you, right? And probably
it's only us three.
There you go. So like just the production value, the logos, the kind of transition screens and all that.
Guys,
Holy, I just like, how did you guys pull this off? That's all I kept thinking of. Is it just blew my mind, and you deserve all that credit. So
Lack
I
of
had to.
sleep.
Thank you.
Lack of
Lack
sleep.
of sleep. Because the time
Coffee
difference
and
between us, because we have a 5-hour time difference.
Oh yeah, that's
So
right.
it's
Yes.
20 past 12 at the moment in the UK.
Yeah.
But I've
Wow.
got so much energy coursing through my veins at the moment because of this, because Liverpool have just won the league. So it's this is one of the reasons that Nadia was so positive about coming on board, because it's the positive direction, the things we were doing, and she was the one that first made me realize how strong the community we were building was. And that's one of the reasons we started it. The initial reason was between me and Chris to send each other short films because we like making short films, and that was
Okay.
the initial impetus. And then I thought, oh, why don't we open it up further? And then that was kind of a light bulb moment. And then I got all the domains, I got everything because I just knew other people would be doing this.
Mm-hmm.
I actually think that Stephen Mann chose the Isolation Short Film Festival because we registered our domain before he did.
We totally did. I didn't want to mention that, but
It's by
Yeah,
2 weeks. It's by 2 weeks. I know for sure it's by 2 weeks.
Yeah, and you know what? I suspected that actually, because there was a lot of exposure on the TV about the Canadian Isolation Film Festival, and I did come across you guys way before I came across this one, and even though it was in Toronto, and I was like thinking, I'm like, is it the same one? Because when I was creating it, then I realized it wasn't.
No,
Yeah.
and it's well that we had a there was a positive knock-on effect from the Toronto-based festival that people were submitting, and it was really nice. Like I got to speak to Michael recently, and Katisha Shaw, and a lot of other actors as well. So it's been such a wonderful experience for Nadia and I, and that's why Nadia and I are hosting this podcast. We're producing this podcast together, just the two of us, and it's not just the films that they've submitted or filmmakers that just submitted. We want to expand this further as well and talk to people about their own content, what they're doing, like your idea about the shooting a thing in your closet. We want to know more about that in the future.
Yes.
Yeah.
Of course.
So it's been a truly humbling experience receiving all these films, and to get positive feedback and to get the feedback we have, it really is humbling, and it's worth the effort because the amount of time we've put in is huge, but it bears fruit through like one person being really positive. And honestly, that video you sent to us made my weekend, and it made it worth it for me. It really did.
Which is something I want to chime in on. I keep forgetting. I wanted to tell you guys before I forget about this. The montage that you made, like both festivals are great. What stood out for you guys was the idea that the montage recognized pretty much all the filmmakers that submitted to the Isolation Film Festival, regardless of whether they were selected or not. They were actually, you still managed to figure out a way to at least give us 1 second of that exposure. And that in itself is beautiful because we all were so interested in trying to contribute to the festival itself, and having you to recognize all of us in doing these things. Even that 1 second, you could already tell, like even myself, how genuinely excited I was when I saw that happen. And I don't think the other festival did that as far as I know. So I know that they only did the selections, and but I heard that they're supposed to release everybody else's films on the YouTube, but it hasn't happened yet, right? But in your case, when you guys came up with this idea for the festival, wow, that blew my mind. And I gotta commend you guys for having to come up with that wonderful concept, because we all see you. We all see you because you saw us.
That's
you.
fantastic, man. That was born out of something that we went back and forth with between me and Nadia, between the three of us, the two of us and Chris, where we wanted to show every film, and then we topped it out. It was going to be around 3 hours just for the film, something like that. And then I don't want to speak ill of anyone or anything like that, but when I watched the ISFF and I was watching it 4:30 in the morning, and I was like, "Oh my god, this is so long. This is longer than the
It's
Oscars."
long.
Oh yeah.
It's about 6 hours.
It was
Oh,
just
yeah.
under, exactly. It was just under 6 hours, and
Oh yeah.
I thought we can't do that because we've got a smaller amount of submissions. We're not going to do that. So
Yeah.
we had the idea of doing it over 2 or 3 days initially. And I thought we've got to do this in a couple of hours, and there was a lot of discussions, and it was kind of it wasn't a last minute thing, but I thought, right, montage is the way to do it. As soon as I put the first 3 shots, all the music we use is paid music, so we've purchased everything that you hear, and I had to find the right track that wasn't somber, that was positivity and community based, because that's the on the money thing that Nadia said, that it's about community. And as soon as I got that, it was like, yeah, that's it. When I put the first 3 or 4 shots together, I knew I had something special in that montage. It took 6.5 hours to put together because it was trying to find a single shot from every single film and doing
that was
justice.
meaningful.
And it wasn't just, I'll just pick the best shot. I'll cherry pick the best shot. It had to make sense. And you could see I put emotions together, I put looks together, and I like the idea of waking up. So when we put Declan Roberts as the very first shot, when he wakes up from bed, I thought, right, it's a wake up moment to the entire event. And then it was like Michael sat on the toilet, and there's actually a little edit which I discussed with Nadia on it was like an after show thing, and it was quite a rude. There's actually quite a rude joke in the montage edit. There's like 3 or 4 shots, and I'll time code you the actual joke, Henry. I'll send it to you.
Okay.
I had fun with it as well, and I showed it to Nadia, I showed it to Chris. I kind of knew sometimes you don't know what you have, but when I put those first 3 or 4 shots together, I thought this is the best thing I've edited for the entire festival. The logos took ages, and the scale, making sure they were all perfect. Do we spell honourable the American way, or do we spell it the British way? I thought, it's a UK original festival. We're going to spell
I lost that vote.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah.
2-1.
2-1. I lost 2-1.
So it was so much fun putting that together. It was really fun putting that together.
It was a lot of late night calls, a lot of meetings, but it was awesome.
When it came to your film and your shot, I was thinking, right, is it going to be in the kitchen, or is it going to be in the living room? And I thought, I'm going to put a single shot from everyone's film, and I don't want to cheat it. I don't think I did. I think if I just put 1 shot from every film, and I think it worked. I think it worked really well. And there was other people playing musical instruments as well that worked really well.
Yes. And I definitely saw the emotion that there was a huge wave that was happening from the beginning to the end.
Yeah.
So of course, when I went to the shot where Ria was in and myself was in, I could definitely see, okay, you guys got the kids shot there, and then you got the section where they are working out and taking getting ready for whatever the day is and everything. And the music, which is also a very, very crucial part of the montage. Yeah. The music played so well to the emotion of what you were trying to draw out of the montage. So making and having made music videos for either trumpet or road trips or whatever, I can definitely see where your mind was when you were thinking about, okay, here's the 4/4 beat, here's the 2 bars that's happening right now, what can I do with those 2 bars and fit as many videos in that. So that in itself is also another constraint, where you have all these videos on hand right now, and you're trying to fit them into that montage itself. So that challenge, I can imagine why it took 6 hours to begin with, because once you start seeing it happen, it explains why it was worth it.
The biggest thing on that was organizing the content, getting all the films, getting those single shots, and making sure you got the right shot for the right thing. And like a lot of, I think James Bond first did the cold open, and TV shows do it left, right, and center now, where you almost don't have any logos, or most of the time you have to have logos at the beginning, and then you go to Bond skiing on a ski slope, and then it's he parachutes off, and it's the Union Jack parachute or whatever it is, and it's like, oh, what's this? I wanted to have a really powerful moment because of the other Razzmatazz of the other festival. I wanted something that genuine community connected everyone, and I wanted to like, right, this, we're going to do this now. So we thought originally, Chris thought, oh, why don't we have this at the end as a showpiece? So I thought the energy is completely different at the end of a show. Even if it is short, you need to have that wow moment at the start.
Yeah.
And
Sure.
I'll tell you a little secret. When we were putting it together, Chris put other music instead of the music I chose. And that's the one moment where, we've worked as a collaboration of three of us, especially Nadia and I, really, really strongly for this festival. When that music was changed, I became a really dark version of myself. I was really not happy. I said, Chris, can we just change that music because it doesn't work? I was like super blunt, and it doesn't work. It has to change.
Yes.
And that was the only time the entire festival I was really furious, because it wasn't because of my editing, the time I spent. It was the energy was completely wrong.
Yes.
And
Yeah, we wanted the tone to be sincere. We wanted the tone to be something that matched the visuals and matched the message of what we wanted to portray. We wanted to portray our gratitude to everyone submitting their films, but we also wanted to portray those heartfelt moments in the films and really connect them together to give it the true meaning of what community looks like, what everyone's perspective looks like during this time.
Absolutely. And that was another reason putting the credits together was difficult, because we didn't want to miss anyone out. It wasn't just the filmmakers we didn't want to miss out. It was everyone that's contributed. Like even Vicky was proofreading my spelling, because when you're doing so many graphics, icons and all of that, right, she deserves a credit because she has to tolerate what I'm doing. I'm spending so much time away from her, and I thought, right, she can be a copywriter. That's what the credit I gave her in the end. And I thought, when I did the credits, wouldn't it be nice to have all the film names, even at this very early stage? When you look at the credits, every single name,
Every single name,
every single film,
every single name, every single film, all of the artists who helped us with the graphics, all of the artists who helped us with the original. We have some original music, original cover music that was provided.
Yes.
And we really just wanted to say thank you and show you, everyone who's watching, how large the community is. Because this was done in 3 months, right? 3 months, Alex?
12 in total, 12 weeks.
12 weeks.
From the original concept,
Yeah. From the original concept to execution, 3 months.
Yeah, so it's...
So
the credits that you guys have done has really, really established the theme of what you guys were trying to do in community. And the Isolation Film Festival, as far as I know, has never been done before, and especially with trying to come up with what the purpose is and who's actually going to be seeing this. And really, the Isolation Short Film Festival, or the Short Isolation Film Festival, is gonna be to the world, which means so at the end of the day, it's not just people attending in the UK or North Carolina or Toronto, for that matter. It's the fact that it's there, it's out there in the world, which means everybody's gonna see everything. And
absolutely,
especially with the internet community, whether you're on a Reddit forums or you're connected through Facebook, Instagram, I find that whenever someone has contributed something, credit is given where credit is due. And while there is probably like 1,000 people you probably have to take into consideration, just think about the amount of hours that they spent to put these stuff together to contribute it, and all they needed was 1 second of that recognition. And for you guys having done that, means so much. It speaks volumes as to what your whole purpose is for the Isolation Film Festival and the idea of community. So that is something that I just that's why I had to record it, my reaction, right? I had to let you guys know. Yeah, that had to be done. And I hope that you guys continue this journey and get that good exposure from having to done this, because it's a lot of work. I can vouch that there was a lot of work involved for what you guys doing, and doing the podcast too on top of it too,
Yeah.
highlighting artists like that.
We absolutely. I think it's very important. Like,
Yep.
you don't have to come on. It's not like you have to do this. You have to do this. It's
Absolutely.
it's just like the positivity we're getting from the filmmakers. It's just another avenue for that, and we are doing this next year.
Yeah.
Stay tuned.
Absolutely doing that.
Woo!
And I'm doing something towards October, a little secret project as well.
Oh, is that the one that you told me from a chat?
Yeah. So
Okay.
I'm gonna tell Henry a little couple of secrets.
Okay.
So we've got. Did I tell you who the judge that's confirmed for that?
No.
So do you know the film The Crow?
Yes.
The director of The Crow is going to be a judge for my new venture.
What the frig? How did you? What? Congratulations.
That was through an email 2 months ago asking him to be a judge on this festival. He apologized about not getting back to me because he doesn't read his DMs on Instagram very often. He said, send me an email. I'll be interested if you still need me. Sent him a message. I had a confirmation today. He says, he runs his own studio in Australia at the moment. And he said, whatever you need, I'm going to send him a few films. He's going to judge it. He's going to create a video. And he did Dark City and The Crow. Those two films, for me, visually are super, super stunning. His visual style is amazing. And then I'm trying to get 2 more people, 3 kind of judges for this thing. And I was calling people left, right, and center. I called Michael in Toronto like super late. Said Mike, and I need to speak to someone. I've got this kind of this energy. I need to kind of like, you know what I mean? So as soon as I found out that Alex Proyas was going to be a judge on this horror festival, I thought, it just blew my mind, you know. And what did you think of our judges for the festival?
I think judges for the festival are amazing because at the end of the day, they are experienced people in the industry. And so I imagine like whether they're in the director's chair or maybe they even filmed the scene or produced the backstage stuff as well. They bring a lot of experience and credibility to reviewing these films at the end of the day. And I do believe that when you hear the words, it's almost like gospel because you know who they are and they have established them. So when you hear what they have to say about your film, number one, you're probably like, holy crap, I know that guy, and now he's actually judging my film. And number two, okay, I believe anything you say right now. I believe you know, like that. It's already it's such an intangible value that you just cannot forget. You know, it's a memory that's forever stuck in your head, and it's something that really reshapes your inspiration and motivation to keep pushing further and do better and learn from what you learn from the experts. So having these judges are great. And are there going to be also other judges? Like is it going to be like you guys going to be judging too? Or
and I've taken this for next year. It's going to be similar. We've got a couple of judges that are in the pipeline. We judged most of the other categories collectively in a constructive manner. It was very difficult. I think we all said
difficult.
I think during the event we all said that it's so difficult to judge someone's film, and like picking honorable mentions was so difficult.
I know. I wanted to have at least 3 honorable mentions, but for timeline's sake, we wanted to make sure that the show wasn't too lengthy. We wanted to have a good runtime, a good flow. But I had more than 2 honorable mentions for sure.
So it's like when you listen to Vance Burberry, who shot music videos like Sweet Child of Mine,
legend,
an absolute legend. And when he's talking about the history of cinema, as soon as I saw the video he'd sent for the winning film for cinematography, I was like, oh my God, we've got something special here.
Yes.
And it was that for me, I was like, oh, it validated everything that Nadia and I and Chris were doing. In terms of they saw what we were doing, and that was really a special moment for me and it's a special moment for both of us where Vance Burberry, who's super busy, he's teaching underwater cinematography theory at the moment and
Yes.
doing the actual practical more so now in underwater as well. And for him to say those things about a film and his enthusiasm on the emails and everything, correspondence, it was just mind blowing, you know.
Yeah.
So eternally grateful.
That's incredible. So does this mean you guys are going to look for more judges and reaching out for other ones during this?
I say so,
I
yeah.
don't know.
It might end up just being the three of us. You know what I mean? It might be different, but it's going to have the same community.
Same community feel.
If we get a sponsor, I know that a family friend saw everything, saw the build up, and wants to fund everything for next year. They said, we want to pay for the website, we want to pay for everything, and they don't want credit or anything. They just said, we want to see you kind of soar with the idea. And I think we're somewhere like that. If we get like a sponsor or an equivalent of Cineplex, like in Canada, it's going to be great, but there's going to be super strict restrictions, and we're not going to like start wearing Cineplex t-shirts or something ridiculous. You know what I mean?
Right.
Correct. No, we're about the we're about the community that we've built and the creators within that community. So if anything, we would love to see how they will, provide any professional feedback or partnerships from a tech perspective. But we're not here to be branded.
Absolutely.
We're not here to have the Isolation Film Festival rebranded to something that's not core to the creators and the community. That's really important to us.
Absolutely. So like I'm glad you guys brought that up too, right? I don't know if you guys have it in like your respective countries or whatever, but I have previously worked in the film tax credit, like the government side of things. So I'm familiar. Yeah. So I learned that there's a lot of grants and organizations out there, at least in Canada, where they do support filmmakers, and by providing like either a tax credit or a grant in order to support the projects that they want to do. One of them is called the Canada Media Fund, where you pitch a project and you tell them like, this is your intent of your idea of what you want to make of it. And they would then provide you either a repayable loan, meaning like a structured loan that you will get partial grant, and it's something that you will pay back if it makes any money, so to say. Bell Media Fund is another one where they have startups for filmmakers that or even project makers that just started out and is trying to push this idea, so they would try to support. And of course, in the province of British Columbia, well, they're known for supporting Canadian films and also foreign films from like LA going to BC in order to receive at least I think it was like at that time 67% of the production budget costs, which was very attractive, which is why BC is starting to flourish and Ontario is also flourishing in that sense. So I could imagine that in North Carolina or in the UK there is some sort of what do you call it, Ontario, BC film.
Some sort of film grant, some sort of film. Yeah, exactly. I'll definitely look into it. And we definitely have a lot to brainstorm through in preparation for next year. I definitely just want to catch up on some sleep.
Oh yeah.
Definitely need to catch up on some sleep and just really take the time to really sit back, enjoy, and be thankful and be grateful for what everyone has contributed to.
Absolutely.
I really want to soak in and feel that in so I could bring that energy into next year.
And I agree.
To be bigger and better.
I totally agree. You definitely need to take the break when you need to take it, because if you start forcing out the type of content you're doing, your content is probably going to show like the quality in itself.
Yeah.
I agree. I totally agree with that. And even though I've come up with a relatively new idea, it's not going to open for anything apart from one video, and that's going to be tonight. And the website's going to be live tonight. It's a separate website. It's not. It is an IFF event, but it's completely separate. And I'm going to show you the little teaser if you'd like to see it.
Yes, absolutely.
So I know Nadia's going to kill me for showing this, but let me just...
At least it's your idea. It's your.
Yeah.
Okay, let me.
I'm just a think tank.
Yeah, I'm. This is between me and you two. I'm not gonna say anything. So.
Oh no, it's all good. like word of mouth super important, and we've had that.
And you're a part of our community, so this is why we share. In communities, we share our knowledge and we share our resources.
Okay, so it's okay if I say it.
Okay, let me find this now. So the new audio, a friend of mine, Chris Forsey, shout out to Chris. Any of the original music, it's difficult for anyone watching the ceremony. All the podcast theme, which is a little bit John Carpenter, which I kind of asked for. He wrote all of that. So anything for the horror thing that's coming up, he's writing the music for. Like because he's got so enthusiastic about what we're doing, and like as soon as Vicky, my partner, she understood what I was doing, and it wasn't just me messing about on my computer or something. She really understood it, and it was a lot of time taken away from the two of us, or like watering the plants or doing things in the garden with her dad or whatever. But we found a better balance of working, or I found a better balance of working based on that mutual understanding of what it all took, And let me find this now.
On a personal level, I can definitely totally relate to you 100%. Defining the balance between myself and my wife in terms of why I'm doing what I'm doing. And she, even herself, is just now, after having gone to where I am now and now doing this interview with you guys, she's finally understanding why I do it. And it's simply the idea that I love it.
Absolutely.
It brings me joy, just like Marie Kondo would say, it sparks joy.
So, I love that show. I love it.
It is an amazing show, eh? and it really speaks volumes to the fact that when I get to finally do this, I have so much more energy to spend time with my wife and my kid. I have more energy to be able to do the household chores that we need to do. As long as I get that kind of space that I get to focus on it, then it really gives me that vibe to get back to being myself. And the cool thing is, like, the things I'm doing as a host, she's now interested in trying to do a little bit of herself.
Yes, come out of your shell.
Yes. So she's realizing, oh, you know what? I don't want people to just make me think, or just think that I'm just a mother or a wife or whatever. She wants to be herself. So
she's
so much
a superhero, mate.
That.
She's so much more, and she's a superhero for being a mother as well.
Exactly. And she's done so much to get to where she is to this day, and I'm so proud of the toughest challenges of getting the masters and then taking care of our kid and all that. Like, incredible. I cannot replicate what she does, honestly. That last year.
It's incredible. Maybe the closet show can be you and her.
We could, we never know.
The three of you, there's a tiny space. That'd be great.
You'd be surprised.
Absolutely.
Absolutely. Just something I want to mention before I show you this is that someone, it was Michael T. Burgess, who's the co-director of Gus and Us, because you've probably seen Gus and Us a couple of times with the ISFF and all of that. And he said he thanked us. We had this little after thing for the winners, like a little Zoom party thing, and he said he wanted to thank us on the behalf of all the filmmakers to have such a diverse showcase, diverse approach to everything, and the best thing to come out of that, none of that was forced. It wasn't forced diversity. It was absolutely natural and giving every single filmmaker a chance.
Yep.
Do you know what I mean? And that's one of the things I'm most proud of, is that it was, this real natural energy. There was nothing negative. We supported filmmakers when they needed to. Like, I've supported filmmakers getting the audio sorted on some of the films. And it was one of the most creatively satisfying things I've ever been part of.
Oh yeah. Definitely the human connection is very important. Like,
absolutely. And we definitely wanted to make sure that we captured that, because we're all isolating due to the pandemic. We didn't want to lose that sense of connection, right? Because we're calling it social distancing, but we're really asked to be physically distant, right?
Yeah.
So we
Exactly.
definitely wanted to make sure that we kept that sense of community, and a core component of community in the world that I believe in harmony and in love, includes diversity. And I'm so glad that we were able to showcase that.
Yeah.
Exactly. And it really, like I said, it definitely it really showed what you guys did, especially with the time constraints of an hour and a half of the show itself. So
Hmm.
that in itself, like, you can see it on Instagram. I see all the other actors and actresses like giving that shout out. It's like, oh my god, we got featured at this isolation film festival. Is so cool and everything. And you would see the stories, like I literally, like 5 stories straight. All I kept seeing was like film festival, isolation film festival. And the minute that I went to the third story, I'm like, yep, you guys made it. You guys made it. You definitely got something going here.
I think it was the approach,
Thank
and
you.
it was like a lot of that's down to Nadia. It's like and what she said about me helping her find, step in front of the camera. She kind of made me fully realize what the potential was, or what the real value was in doing this for the filmmaking community.
Yes.
Yeah.
Huge.
I want to thank you for that, Nadia.
Thank you,
No
Nadia.
problem. Thank you.
So on to something completely different,
All right.
and I mean completely different.
It is. And he knows I don't like the scary stuff, like
I love the Goonies. I love watching reality TV. I love positivity, but I also like darkness.
which is fine. Don't get me wrong here. I can handle a little bit. A little bit. I can't do, there's levels that are beyond me, right? So like Hellraiser, Wishmaster, that's too high of a level for me.
Oh,
You
yeah.
know?
Yes.
I could do maybe the Gremlins or, the Leprechauns. Okay, maybe. But the horror stuff is a little too heavy for my spirit.
Yeah. Oh man, then you probably can relate to the Pandoodles because most of their stuff was horror.
Yeah.
Yeah. Alright.
So
So go ahead and reel it up.
one little thing before this teaser. It was Vicky's 40th birthday 2 weeks ago, something like that, and her sister Perva and I contacted all the friends that had moved internationally abroad, and we got them to send those videos. So that was the most difficult edit of the entire year for me, was putting that together. I thought, how do I do this? Because most of the videos are portrait. Everyone should shoot landscape, but the portrait, there's a mix. How do I do this? I thought, right, I need an intro. So, Ian Rayburn's film Days?
Yes.
And it came second place I think it came second place in the Canadian festival as well. And I put the first 2 minutes on. And then when she goes to cut her leg, and it's obviously a dream, and then starts to eat her leg, I put an 8mm screen burn in, and the sound of an 8mm reel coming off at the end. When you hear
Oh yes, when it wraps up, yeah.
Because it's not obviously it's digital, but the sound of it makes you think of an end. Do you know what I mean? It's more of a subconscious thing, and and then it basically I did this whole we're gonna watch this horror film, and she was doing something really super violent, and then it goes to 8mm. It starts on black, but then I found a clip from It Chapter 2 where under the bleachers Pennywise comes out and says, "Hello, Vicky," because that's actually that's actually what she says. That's what he says in the film, and it scared the living daylights out of her.
I can imagine, especially the fact that it's her name.
And then it went back to black, and then it came up with a friend. So I was pulling her left and right in terms of energy. And then at the very end, it faded down all the friends. She was crying, and I got a reaction video as well. And I kind of faded things out between different people so she could see who was coming up. Yeah. And it was a lot of fun. At the end, it faded back to black. It says, "Your name is Vicky, isn't it? I like that. I like that name." It was so much fun.
Oh my god!
Just to wind her up, So
good memories at the end of the. I mean, probably not for Vicky, but good memories nonetheless.
No, she loved it. She did love it. And when I turned to look at her to see her reaction, she was like that. It was great. So yeah, I love horror. I love scare. Trying to scare people. Like, I've watched Paranormal Activity too many times. and I still look away.
Yeah.
It's like I like the reaction. Like I like hot sauce. I like what chilies do to me. I know that.
I love chili. We gotta have some chili sometime.
We will.
I
We
love
definitely
hot
will.
sauce, but that's not the same. That's not
But I
the same thing.
like where my mind goes in horror as well. So
Yes.
I wanted to create something that it might honestly it might fall apart. Like the judge, he might pull out, and I'm fine with that because I know my intent is just to kind of give people that have got a lean towards horror filmmaking, which there's a lot, and I know there's a lot of filmmakers out there like Ian Rayburn, and even if I get 5 films, I'm going to be happy with that. I honestly believe that. And
yeah, for sure.
this idea wouldn't have come without the Isolation Film Festival. So I checked with Chris, I checked with Nadia. I wanted to do this, and it wasn't like, oh, this is mine, I'm going to get really possessive. I just wanted to do something for Halloween. And because there is such a sorry, I've had Coke, it's just too many bubbles. Because there's so much time leading up to Halloween, there was enough time to have the rest, which we all need. And
We
with
all need,
the temperature the UK is going through at the moment, oh my God, I'm sweating all the time.
Yes.
And it will give me enough time to prep properly. And the lessons
Right.
I've learned from the Isolation Film Festival, I can then put into this. So what I'm doing is I've bought the domain name. I've got the handles, I've got Twitter, I've got Instagram, I've got Facebook, got all of that. And I confirmed all that today because before I put the promo out, you can't put the website name without owning it because you look like an idiot if it doesn't work.
True.
So
Yeah.
that's gonna have a countdown and a really sinister spinning thing with putting, your info in and all that. So this is going to be the only press or only social media thing for at least a month.
Ooh, this is gonna be interesting.
I hope you like it.
Should I take a picture or a snapshot of this or something?
You can do whatever you want, yeah. Share audio, screen one.
All right.
Honestly, you can. That's how I'm happy with that. It's fine.
All right.
So share computer sound, screen one. This should have sound on it. Okay. Can you hear it?
I can hear it.
We don't see your screen yet. We don't see your screen.
Oh shit. Okay. Right.
Oh no, I see you. Sorry. Yes.
Okay.
Okay, I can edit that out.
Right. No, it's fine. Yeah. You can blame that mistake on me. So I'm gonna take that out of full screen.
Okay.
And then where are we?
Yeah.
Share computer sound, screen one. Can you guys
There
see
you go. It's loading.
Okay.
Uh-huh.
see it.
Can you see the
I'm at the
resolve page? Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, you're on the
Okay,
resolve.
I'm gonna
Yeah.
go to full screen. It should just go black.
Okay.
Okay.
Let's go to that. Can you see just black?
Yes.
Now,
With
yes.
a little play thing at the bottom.
Yep.
Yes.
Go ahead.
Okay.
I should probably minimize the chat here. Okay, there we go.
And that's it.
Holy crap!
So that's
I got the same reaction that I have from Happy Episode Kid.
That's it. No one outside of this room has seen that.
Okay.
That looks really good.
And because
That looks really good.
because you're such a good dude, Henry, I wanted to show you that. Honestly, that's the reason why, mate.
Okay. Thank you. I guess thanks you for showing that. I really appreciate it.
What did you think?
I think that I'm trying to figure out how you managed to pull those effects together.
Oh, that took some time today.
Holy crap! Like the spinning stuff that was happening. I was like, the frig.
So
I don't know what.
So
Yeah.
the thinking behind the way that is, I know obviously you can pull this apart all day, but
Yeah.
the text disappearing with, I wanted to have connective tissue, and I'm going to talk about this in a wider way. It's obviously not the festival, but it's something different, connected. It's born out of it.
Yes.
And some things that are born out of things can be evil, and that's the whole idea. And so when my name disappears, when the IFF horror event disappears, and then you see Hellbound come out of hell, that's the whole thinking behind that little promo.
Wow.
It looks really good.
It's got me intrigued right now, and I get now. It just dawned on me why you said October.
Yeah, there you go. Yeah.
Halloween.
There you go. Halloween.
I think I'm going to open up the submissions on the 1st of August because a lot of horror, where people, like you're throwing down blood or you're making some sort of mask or whatever, a lot of that takes a lot of prep time. So that's why it's not because I want 200 submissions. It's to give filmmakers that make horror the chance to make what they want, and if they want to be involved, exactly. So
that's
there's going to be obviously Instagram and all of that, and little sinister things. My neighbor across the road, his wife's Japanese, and she loves horror, right? And she was telling me how much she loved the festival, and she's the closest person to me that's seen everything, and she saw it. She saw the festival, she loved it, and she says, "Oh, can I be involved in some way?" And I said, "Yeah. Do you want to be involved in the marketing for it?" So I'm going to turn her into someone really sinister. So she's going to be part of the marketing push for it, and she's really lovely. I said, "You do realize this is going to go down a dark path, don't you?" And she said, "Yeah, I've seen Hellraiser. I love all of that." Great.
Wow.
So you
found the
I
right
can't wait to
person.
see it.
So you might be standing in the middle of the road with a kitchen knife with a T-shirt with blood all over it. I hope you know that's what's going to happen.
Expect it. Wow. All right. It looks like something. Now, because I have this teaser now, is this something that you guys don't mind if I accidentally teased a tease?
No, you can honestly. It's going out today. You can post that whenever you want. I wouldn't have shown that to you, so you can do whatever you want with it.
Perfect. Because I could definitely help you guys try to get that type of exposure from some of the people.
Thank you.
Yeah, and the
you.
domain name is hellboundhorrorfestival.com. That's already bought. I'm just connecting the domain name now. It's not. Don't think it's live on that domain name yet. It might take a couple of days to activate. But all that's on there is an inquiry form to stay, like a newsletter form to submit, and a countdown. That's all is on there.
Yeah, because the thing is, I have other social media platforms, TikTok and Bigo, right?
Yeah.
And TikTok, I managed to somehow build a user base of about 3,500 people. And it was mainly because I think I did a lot of short videos promoting Pandoodles, and there was one video that I did that I didn't realize it was going to be universally understandable. Was a clip from one of their short films called Guayon, which is a play on The Grudge. And so basically I just had a 10-second shot of her like just laughing, like her, like that. For some reason it blew up in Japan because people saw her. Yeah, obviously it's a Japanese movie, so they're like this is either The Grudge or The Ring. And then they also started saying, the guy that was playing the opposite of her, he looks like some sort of comedy YouTube personality that they know. They keep calling him Hikakin, and I'm like, that's not Hikakin, that's Matt Kim, that's my friend. but it blew up, and I was like, it just happened. So I mean, I'll be happy to try to like tease that your festival basically.
Thank you.
Hellbound. Hellbound's part of the mythos of Hellraiser. And it's such a sinister thing. I thought, it's going to go dark, because I wanted something completely different as well, because the audience is different for horror. It's like
Then it is, yeah.
science fiction has its audience, romantic comedy has its audience, horror has its audience, and it's not none of this is a money making scheme for us. This is purely based out of
course.
love.
No,
For
just building another
supporting
sense of
them.
community,
Absolutely.
another niche of the
Another
community.
passion project for sure.
So
yeah.
if I start receiving Japanese horror films, I'm gonna be so happy.
Oh, they're good. They're
Oh, they're
good.
good.
Yeah.
And
They're
scary.
good.
Like we received 2 films from China. One was a stop motion. It was the same chap, and it
Yes.
was
Yes,
the
yeah.
second film was an interactive adventure film. So when you watch, we'll actually showcase, and I'll link that to you at some point. It's you can't really watch it without interacting with it. It's like you've got to click certain things. Oh, this person clicks a button. Do you decide to turn the light on or walk down the corridor? That was the film. So I think it was called Treasure Adventure.
Okay.
And we're going to talk to them at some point on the podcast as well.
That sounds really cool, actually. I would love to see that one.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So yeah, I'm glad you like that. I'm glad you both got a good reaction from that. Anyway, that advert.
Yes.
Jahari Window right here. I'm through the looking glass. I'm seeing you got some incredible talent there. Both you and Nadia, like you guys are a crazy good team, and I know that the energy that you got given each other, as well as the other filmmakers that you got to talk to, I could definitely say like you guys have something, and I highly encourage you guys keep going. Like don't stop. Don't stop. This is energy that you don't normally get when you stop doing these type of things. You get tired, but this,
Yeah.
you feel it because there's something there. You will probably sacrifice like 16 of the 24 hours that you have in order to get that job done from time to time. Maybe you'll burn out. Okay,
We have.
Yeah.
See, there you go.
Expect my dog to feature heavily in everything going forward.
Yes. That's
It's
exactly
gonna be on the desk. You know what I mean? I don't mind that. I love the idea of that. And
dog name, aka Hellbound.
I'll tell you what the name of the dog's going to be, because if it's a girl, that's kind of what we want.
Okay.
Because of temperament, that kind of thing. It's going to be called Ethel.
Oh, Ethel.
Ethel's a very old, kind of an old name, but the full name for is Ethel the Destroyer. So on the documents, the legal documents for the dog, that's what it's going to be called.
That's awesome. You can let them know. You can let them know that Ethel has a backstory, so that you don't want to mess with that dog, or even mess with Alex, because Ethel,
the destroyer.
Exactly.
She's gonna destroy you.
Vicky said to me that when you go to a vet's, they will use the entire name that's on the documents.
Yep.
When they call it. I was like, oh yeah, excellent.
You're gonna love it because it has a photo of her. She probably has like a pouty face, and the next thing you know, Ethel the Destroyer.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, and because if it was a certain breed that I wanted, I was going to call it Quint or Hooper from Jaws, and I thought, right, I've got to get my 5 pence worth in, you know.
Yeah. You know, Ethel the Destroyer is very original. I think like we haven't heard that name in a long time, so definitely have that. I would love to It's a great icebreaker. Ethel?
Yeah, there's a story. Yeah.
What is this about? Oh, it's a funny story, you know?
Yeah. Actually, you know what? I'm gonna get one of those little neckerchiefs or whatever you call them. You know, they put around the dog's neck.
Yes.
But I'm gonna get. This is very specific. Arnie from Conan the Destroyer.
That's perfect.
You see what I mean? So.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Has so many levels behind that story.
So many levels. So many levels.
So I think Henry, that's a perfect spot to love you and leave you, because I've got to say thank you to Nadia for hosting the first of many episodes she's going to host. So she did a great job, and Henry, you've been one of our favorite guests, or one of my favorite guests so far.
Oh,
thank you.
And thank you for introducing the world to, for Ria, really,
Yes. I hope that she continues on it too, and she gets to meet like wonderful people like you and Nadia, and like it's a very different world out there, and we hear all these stories that people have, and it's so cool when we just learn from them and connect with them, and
Absolutely.
keep getting it creative. So I'm so happy to have like both of you. It's such an honor and privilege, like to have.
We're friends now. We're friends now.
We are.
Yes. Yes.
If you ever want to visit the northwest of the UK, the sunny spot, then you're more than welcome. So yeah, if you ever want to support the best football team, sports team in the world, it's Liverpool FC.
Here we go.
Got it. You got it, Liverpool.
Yes.
From now on, it's Liverpool.
The hashtag you only need to use is YNWH. You'll never walk alone.
You never walk alone. Okay, Liverpool. You never walk alone. Okay. Sorry, Manchester.
That will be trending right now worldwide. It will be trending.
Oh, I hope Manchester didn't hear that, by the way.
That's a whole other conversation. Because my father's from Manchester and he doesn't.
Oh, yeah. Shoot.
Exactly. That's
Alex's dad.
Yeah. Oh my god.
Jeez.
So I'm gonna be winding people up for the next couple of years, I think. Oh yeah, there's a lot because I know this has gone off a little bit tangent now. We're kind of wrapping things up, but people have been winding me up since I supported my team. You know, when you're really conscious of sport or what people are doing, that kind of thing. Yeah. My team has never won the league, so this is and it's got a rich history. My club, it's my club, you know, and I take such pride in it. And the city's such a positive force for good across the board. Liverpool itself and the people are so welcoming and great. But when you've been wound up for 30 years by Manx, by Man United fans especially, it really takes a toll on you. And now it's time for my vengeance. I
feel you, man.
Can you feel that energy?
The Toronto Maple Leafs have not won a championship, an NHL hockey championship since 1967. Ooh. I get so much flack for that when I moved to Ottawa and also BC. Every time I go, I always hear about, oh yeah, well, your Leafs never won the same. I'm back to Toronto. I feel your pain. So I just want to say right here, hashtag YNWH. You never walk alone.
Yeah.
Liverpool.
That's the one, man. Yes, I've recruited someone else for Liverpool now.
Awesome.
Well, thank you very much, Henry. We're gonna let you go now, and thank you so much for submitting your film. And keep in touch on Instagram, and look out for the Hellbound.
Looking forward to it. Thanks again, guys. Thank you again, and I'll definitely keep in touch with you both.
See you awesome. Soon. Have a good night.
You too. Bye.
Bye.